Welcome to Meaningful Mornings. In our culture, we have 4 birthdays every year. And the first is the birthday of Bhagwan or divinity, and specifically, that is Mahashivratri. Mahashivratri will be celebrated on Saturday, February 18th, which means we're exactly 1 month until that celebration. The way to prepare for this important first birthday is to shift one's attention from articles to awareness, from the material to the immaterial. Meaningful Mornings is a workshop to perpetually train in tuning into that which is more fundamental. In verse 8, Shri Krishna shares, Divyam dadami te chakshuhu. I grace you with these divine eyes. And what's lovely about having divine eyes, everything one sees will be divine then, correct? In verse 9, Sanjaya starts to describe the rupa, the form of Shri Krishna in general. And really what he's showing is Prince Arjuna was ignoring how Shri Krishna looks, but now he's remembering. In verses 10 to 11, Sanjaya describes Shri Krishna in specifics, the grandness, and this is to help Prince Arjuna to feel small, humble. What's important to note as we continue with these beautiful verses, Prince Arjuna is seeing the diversity, but he also has the understanding of the unity. So physically, he's seeing separation between crowns and heads, but he has that vision that all of this is on the fundamental. So this is not a casual physical phenomenon that Prince Arjuna is going through. This is emphasized more in verse 12. Devi Surya Sahasrasya Bhaved Yugapaduttita Yadi Basadrishi Sasyad Basatastasya Mahatmanaha. What is described is Divi, the light, Surya Sahasrasya, of 1,000 suns. Bhavet is being experienced, Yugapad Uttita, rising at once. For anyone who's looked at the sun just for a small amount of time, when you close your eyes, what do you still see? That sun behind your eyes, correct? And that's one sun for a small amount of time. Imagine the brilliance of 1,000 suns rising at once. Yadi bhasadrishi sasyat, if there were such a light, what could be compared to that? Bhasastasya mahatmanaha, it is the light of awareness, the light of Shri Krishna. Reflecting on this more, I had asked all of you to research details into this verse. And there's lots of references, yes, in the world, in terms of quotes and books and movies. The reflection of this verse is the sun's light is great, but the source of that greatness is Shri Krishna. And now one may be thinking, but what's the point of this understanding? There's so many ways to that are taught, we are taught on developing this humility. So like, often what is shared is that a child can never be as great as their parent. The notion to be living a life of gratitude, or the effect can never be greater than the cause. Again, remembering where your source is. So what's being shared here is, as brilliant as the external sun is, what's more brilliant is that this is contained in Sri Krishna, who is of the nature of awareness. Okay? From great to greatest to God. These verses, as I've been sharing, are more beautiful in seeing. The next verse is going to shift to Prince Arjuna. And I want to share some details about Prince Arjuna, about his transformation, for us to gauge our own transformation. When we were first introduced to Prince Arjuna in chapter 1, he had this worldly confidence. Then in chapter 2, he became a disciple or a shishya. I was sharing in our Upanishad course yesterday, how does one become a shishya or a disciple? It comes by wanting to know more. Know more about life, know more about yourself. So that's all of you right now. That's all of us. But how is it that we've come to want to know more? The Vedanta, what's inside of life in you, it has come through noble living and the Creator's grace. Noble living in the Creator's grace. Your past lives of following your responsibilities and now, as well as the grace of Sri Krishna, has made us want to know more. Again, I'm trying to share the insights into how much Prince Arjuna has evolved. Now, when you want to know more, our first strategy is to go into our own intellect. We try to figure things out ourselves. But you reach a point where you know you can't learn anything more from yourself. And that's when you go and seek a teacher, a guide. And that's exactly what Prince Arjuna has done here. And in doing so, he's now seeing this truth. He's feeling this truth. This is a very famous verse, and there's lots of awesome insights coming in the forthcoming verses. From inspiration to application. Your application was to research this verse, the quotes, the references. Now, what I often think about is when all of these scientists are appreciating Bhagavad Gita, it shows how proud they are of this map, of this culture. Are we that proud? Because if there's so many references from people who are farther away from this culture, certainly those who are part of this culture should be proud. And your application for today, on March 19th, 2020, that's when we began Meaningful Mornings. From then to December 11th, 2022, not that long of a period, our community was able to raise $468,701 for various charities. So, on March 19th, 2023, that's coming up shortly, our community is going to reach that aspiration of having contributed $500,000 to society. So right now we're supporting the Trevor Project, and we have to raise approximately $31,300. We can do this. One of the words that I like to describe our community as is philanthropists. So this is your application, is for all of us to reach our aspiration together. Shanti, Shanti, Shantihi. Be safe, be sound, be serene, be joy.